Thank you, Dr. Valesky. Next, we have a facilities project report.
Thank you, President Simmons. So there have been, I think, some questions that have come up regarding what exactly we, as a district, have been doing in our facilities over the years. So we compiled a list of the various projects, and just wanted to do a quick review of what we've been doing throughout our schools over the last 4 years. So if we start with Bound Monroe, we've undertaken 4 projects there. One was to air condition all of the classrooms. We did a full roof replacement at Bound Monroe about 2 years ago. Security vestibule construction and sidewalk replacements and improvements to access the property from the rear, in the rear neighborhood. Over at Central, we conducted some flexible learning space renovations. The HVAC unit ventilator replacements were undertaken, security vestibule construction, and sidewalk replacements and improvements throughout the property as well. At Chittick, we did a book room renovation, a renovation for the meeting room, fire alarm upgrades and replacement. That's a Phase 1 project. Flexible learning space renovations, the HVAC renovations throughout the building, replacing all the unit ventilators and introducing air conditioning to all the classrooms, kitchen renovations, multi-purpose room and stage renovations, security vestibule construction, storage addition, and water main replacement. I'll add a note on the water main replacement because I think this is something that Dr. Valesky and I were just discussing today. That's an infrastructure item, and we're starting to see some of the underground infrastructure fail. We had this issue at Chittick over the winter where the water main ruptured twice within a period of 1 week. So we undertook a replacement there, but we also had on the very first day of school a sewer collapse over at Frost, which caused us to evacuate the building. And that was a collapse that took place out in the roadway. It wasn't on our property. And just yesterday, we had another issue up at the high school, which caused some of the sanitary lines to back up. And only just late today was that found at least a starting point to be able to do the discovery on that. We still don't have all of the details on where the cause is. But what we suspect is that the sanitary line has collapsed off the property. So we've got some old infrastructure that I'm going to guess is going to start to reveal itself more as we proceed through this year and the next couple of years. And just a side note, as I said. Over at Churchill, we air conditioned the gymnasium. We completely renovated the bleachers. We did a full renovation of the media center, did a roof replacement over the kitchen, security signage, and security vestibule construction. Over at East Brunswick High School, we are currently in the process of air conditioning the second floor, the B Hall, in the front of the building. The gymnasium was also air conditioned in the last couple of years. Cafeteria was fully renovated. Emergency generator improvements were done. The gymnasium was fully renovated. The health suite was relocated and newly constructed. The media center was fully renovated. We did roadway improvements throughout the site to improve circulation. Rooftop unit replacement is currently underway over the J Hall. Science labs were renovated. Not all, but most were renovated. Security vestibule construction and special education classroom was renovated as part of the relocation of the health suite. At Frost, flexible learning space renovations took place this summer. HVAC was completely redone with new unit ventilators throughout the building and introducing air conditioning to the classrooms. Rooftop unit replacements over the rear wing were done this year, and security vestibule construction as well. Sidewalk replacements and improvements on the entire property, and a storage addition was constructed last year. At Hammersholt is one of our newest buildings, newest, and it's now about 10 years old, so that's how new our newest is at
Almost
this point.
12.
Is it 12 now?
Almost 12.
12. So it's not so new anymore, even though we like to think it is. But at Hammersholt, we constructed the security vestibule. And you'll see that that's the common theme throughout each of the buildings. Every building received a new security vestibule. At Irwin, field irrigation and well system to maintain the property. Fire alarm upgrades and replacement, that's also a Phase 1 project that was just done. Flexible learning space renovations, kitchen renovations, multi-purpose room and stage renovations were just completed. A new fence around the property, new and expanded parking, a bus loop, site lighting and landscaping. The security vestibule was constructed, sidewalk replacements and improvements throughout. Storage addition was built, and windows and exterior doors were replaced. At Lawrence Brook, roadway improvements to improve circulation on the rear of the property, and a security vestibule was constructed. Again, that's another project, another building where we had done significant improvements, well, now 12 years ago, as we had done over at Central. At Memorial School, our newest building, we are now in the process of installing an emergency generator. Security vestibule was constructed, and sidewalk replacements and improvements took place on the property. At our support operations facility, we acquired the property. We performed site work, building renovations to support the district's transportation and facilities management operations. And now all of our bus fleet and staff are all housed in one location where they were previously, one would say, homeless. And then at Warnsdorfer, we performed the boiler replacement for the heating system, flexible learning space renovations, HVAC systems, which included the unit ventilator replacements throughout the building and introducing air conditioning to the classrooms, new school sign, roof replacement, which was just completed, rooftop unit replacements on the rear wing, the security vestibule construction, sidewalk replacements and improvements, and a storage addition was built last year. So in total, you see that we've done quite a lot over the last 4 years. And that doesn't mean that there isn't a lot to do. There is a lot of work to be done on the facilities.
I'll say that, one thing that weaves through is the air conditioning, for example.
Yes.
We have made a commitment to air condition our schools, and we have to do it. And I can see it in the high school as we start to address the worst places, like the B Hall, et cetera, where it's almost inhabitable sometimes. And I have to note, too, because we've seen this, to air condition a school like a Warnsdorfer or a Frost or Bauman Row is not the easiest thing to do. These buildings were not built with air conditioning in mind.
Correct.
So you're almost retrofitting these buildings to take air conditioning. You're literally changing the climate there, and it's not an overnight thing.
Right.
So, we're doing the best we can to get there, and I think that people who have to sit in classrooms probably appreciate that it's not just the offices that have air conditioning. Central Lawrence Brook and Hammersholt being almost 12 years old, which is not even comprehensible, no. But you can see that we don't need as many things there, obviously, because they're newer, but they were also designed at a different day.
Correct.
We shouldn't need the same kinds of things. We have to keep that in mind, I think, as we pick up projects. The roofs is not another thing. Huge expenditure in it, but if we don't do it, we have the problems we have at Churchill.
So now that you mentioned Churchill, we have a number of projects. We are constantly in the planning process. We don't wait until the funds are available to begin planning, because we'll lose time. When the funds are available, we want to be able to go out and solicit bids and be able to kick off a project as quickly as possible. So we are constantly in the process of developing our plans and specifications with our professionals to be able to put ourselves in a ready state and be able to move forward. With regard to Churchill, we have discussed where Churchill's condition of roof needs to be replaced. There's no question about that, the entire facility. So that is, the plans and specifications for that are, as of a couple of days ago, I think about 75% complete. And the same holds true for air conditioning Churchill in its totality. Now, that is a big ticket expenditure for both of those projects. And I'm going to say, if I was to just to grab a number, it's probably going to be in the $8-9 million range. But we're working on how we can bridge that so that we can accomplish that project. Both of those need to be done at about the same time. And we'd be looking at about a 2-year period to get the roof and the air conditioning done. But those are priorities. And there are a number of other projects that were also in the planning stages around the district. But they are all on the radar. It's a matter of how much we can get done in a year and the resources that we have to accomplish them.
Yeah, it's funny, people ask, because now that the elementary is air conditioning, well, what about the rest of the district? So they know now, these things are in the plans.
Yes.
So that is important to sort of get out there. Thank you. Mrs. Shaw.
Bernie, do we have any of our, like, lease purchase items that are coming to the end of their life at this point so that we can begin to take a look at that roof job for Churchill?
So from the what I'll call the short-term lease purchase or short-term debt, which is part of the base budget, that is one of the things that we do each year. We have a cycle built in
Right.
where the debt comes off and we reissue new debt, and that enables us to maintain a level expense, but at the same time be able to accomplish projects. That's one of the things that we are looking at on how to finance the Churchill projects for this coming year. So we'll have a large, relatively large portion of debt that will be retired that we will turn over to help to finance that.
Okay. I'm glad that you were able to review some of these projects in public this evening, because at the Community Arts Center the other night, I mean, there was some talk about, some buildings being so bad that it was an unhealthy environment for students. And I think that there's nothing further from the truth. I think that all of our buildings are safe, and I also believe that they provide a good learning environment and also a good work environment for our staff.
I would agree that in your comment that our buildings are safe. I've constantly reaffirmed the public about that. And obviously, we have some areas of comfort we have to work on, and we have environmental issues that we chase all the time. But our buildings are safe.
Yeah, people confuse modern with safe. Two
Right.
different issues.
Right.
We don't have the most modern buildings
No.
around. Some of them are.
They have character.
Yeah.
And they're 12 years old now.
Well, that's our newest.
I know.
That is, some of our newest buildings
Those
are
are
12 years old now.
babies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you go backwards, and there we go.
Well, just think about Warrenstorf for tomorrow night celebrating their 50th.
Yep.
So,
It's in pretty good shape for
50's
Yeah.
the new 40.
For the number, for the,
50's the new 40? I thought it was the new 30.
And 60, no, 60's the new 30.
yeah,
Okay.
we're
It's
digressing.
called- it's everyday
But
math.
for the number of people that come in and out of these buildings in a year or 5 years, I think we're doing right with that.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
Just want to say that, to sum it all up, yeah, we need to do all of this and more. But I always like to look at what gets accomplished in spite of some aging buildings. We have students whose achievements across the board, academics, athletics, arts, are outstanding. And we have a staff that is second to none in their dedication and commitment. And yeah, some of the buildings are old. But look what comes out of them. That's what I like to look at. Great stuff.
And the Yankees won the World Series and built a new stadium the next year. Just want to add that.
And so what's the purpose
Yeah,
of
I
you saying that?
I really see the
I'm just-
segue was very
The thing is,
obvious,
just, I'm
Chad.
saying that you always update.
Yes, that's
kids-
true.
the kids-
And
teach-
isn't that what she said? She said
Sort
there's
of.
always more to do. And so
Yes.
we are in agreement.
Yeah, that's what I said,
agreement.
yeah.
Okay. on that-
Thank you,
Yankees.
Mr. I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Juliana and Dr. Valesky for putting this in a way that we all could see. Sometimes, you know, as the years pass, you don't realize all the different renovations that are happening, and perhaps some folks in our community are not aware of the day-to-day operations that happen here.
Yeah, Can we post it on the website?
I was going to add that this
Yeah.
this will get posted on the
Okay.
website.
Good, excellent. Okay, anything else?